So many divines.
Biggest exports is bad legislation. We see it happen here, and this to make us less courageous, to make us fearful.
And my favorite drag name still is Aretha Franklin. But not anymore. They used to want to be Miss America. I mean, so I think drag queens now all show a little bit of Divine's influence, certainly. Divine, the drag queens hated Divine in the beginning, because he would show up showing, you know, tearing a chainsaw with fake scars on his face, and they didn't think that was funny. Right. They thought he was making fun of it, which he was. Yeah.
So you just said a word just now, and I heard audience reaction. I want you to dive a little deeper into this. You said square, and people said, but I've heard you talk about the definition, how you define square.
Square means, I'm going to say this, I think I'm getting an award, but
You might be.
I had to do that, and after back then we were even sneaky. That's when we filmed Pink Flamingos. We put that trailer way up deep in the woods where no one could ever find us, where we could shoot. Yeah.
So question, because I've heard you talk about LSD and how no, I mean it's a solid question. How that took you into a different place. I want to hear about that.
Well, we took a lot of acid when we were young, and other people I took it with are dead, became drug addicts. I never did. I always liked drugs, and I never had a problem with them. I mean, I don't do them now. I mean, I hate that. What's that one drug? As soon as they have the drug that makes you love everybody, that's when I stopped. That sounds like the worst high I have ever heard of in my life. But I did take acid again when I was 70 years old, and I wrote about it in my book, and I did it with Mink and my other friend Frankie, and it was great, you know. And my mother always said, "Don't tell young people to take acid." I'm telling old people to take it. But then they say, "Do you have dementia?" You can say, "No, I'm tripping, fucker." But it was great, and I got it from Timothy Leary's asshole. I got the provenance of the acid we got was so strong and perfect. It was from the last few people that were connected with it. And it was stronger than I ever took. It was hallucinating. It was great. But it was Bear Week. I didn't go out. I thought, even me tripping, I can't see 10,000 guys naked.
All right.
One thing I couldn't do.
You play this seedy sort of used car salesman.
Yeah. Tight calf. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, because that was a year or two before Hairspray. You had nothing else between those years of 87 and 88. I wanted to ask you, did that movie have any connection, intrigue, or segue from that movie into Hairspray?
No, but it did have it was just the first time I was asked to be in a movie, and now I'm in a lot of movies, but little parts. But it did, that's when I met Melanie Griffith, and I remembered that, and then I think that had a lot to do with me casting her way later in Cecil B. Demented. But I just did that because Jonathan, I met, he liked me, and so I did a lot of different movies I did cameos in. But I don't know that had much to do with that. In '88, I had before that been trying to make the sequel to Pink Flamingos, which is out now, it's a book, but it wasn't, I should have done that, I wasted too much time on it. But, I think that was the gap in between Polyester and that. And then Hairspray, Hairspray was a hit, and so Crybaby was the only time I went to every Hollywood studio, and they all wanted to do it, and I had Johnny Depp attached. So it was not hard to get that movie, yeah. And they made later a musical of Crybaby that failed on Broadway, but it's good. You should try to see it. You can get the soundtrack out. And it just opened at the West End of London again and was a hit.
Achievement Award in recognition of your decades of groundbreaking work. You were not only an icon, but a source of inspiration, whose bold creativity and unapologetic voice has shaped generations. Tonight, we celebrate you and all you've contributed to our community. Please, let's all stand up and give him a warm Dallas welcome.
Even tonight, they pay, you know? So when gay organizations give me things, I always demand I have to do the show or something, but you should all be gay for pay. you know? At your job, ask for a salary bonus when you tell them you're gay. That'll confuse them. Lobby politicians for more money to hire smart, gay, unracist cops. Give cash tips to librarians who put banned books back on the shelf. Endow AIDS research grants that RFUCK Kennedy got rid of. It takes a lifetime of agitation to make a difference. So start today and always unleash your dreams, even the ones that are absolutely artistically threatening to other people. Gay isn't enough, but it's a goddamn good start.